maybe have a chance to run that lead group down.
Oh, he got spin off turn 2. Skip Smith, the 28 car, has spun and backed it in the fence and hard.
And a tough break for Skip Smith out of Williamsport, Pennsylvania, who had a great run here last year at Talladega. Qualified that car in 6th position, running in the top 10 until an incident late in the day kept him from getting a great finish, and now he has had the first hard contact of the day, bringing out caution number 1 on lap number 7. Turns 1 and 2.
He's on the outside of Mark Thompson, and all of a sudden he just gets the car loose. The vehicle just simply goes loose, and how in the world he spun that vehicle between all those cars and never hit anything is beyond me. Cars in the middle of 2 cars, a car on the inside, and somehow he goes between those cars in the inside wall.
Back at Talladega, unscheduled pit stop for points leader Frank Kimmel, who came sliding down pit road with a plume of smoke beneath the car.
Come on, bring it down, bring it down.
And the caution does indeed come out. He has lost a lap on pit road. We were just saying a moment ago, some of the drivers were waving at possibly some debris on the racetrack. That's probably the reason for the caution flag.
Off the corner. Talking about Frank Kimmel. And all of a sudden he feels something amiss. He just quickly goes over. Something in the left side. I guess the left rear tire is for left front or left rear. Left front is flat. Let's go down to Ray.
Back at Talladega Superspeedway, starting to mix it up now toward the front. Mark Thompson has assumed the lead in front of Tim Steele. Thompson coming out of retirement. His last race was here 2 years ago. This very event and a spin. Heavy contact, a couple of cars spinning around, making a half a dozen cars. Now up in turn 4.
Oh, man, and another car comes through and runs in the side of another vehicle. That's Brian Ross, I think, coming across the racetrack. I shouldn't speculate because I really can't see if that's well enough to see if that is. But I can see there's Rich Woodland in the 7 car, Brad Baker in the 6, Kevin Counselor in the 19 car.
That's Kevin Counselor in the car number 19. The 7 car is Woodland.
6 is Brad Baker. There we see, that was Brian Ross that I saw in the 67 car.
Car number 21 made a move down on the inside of the racetrack to take the lead from Kirk Shelmerdine. Now, as we came back just a moment ago down the backstretch, there was a near miss, a little bit of a nudge. Watch that right there.
Wow. Tim Steele, the red car on the inside, and Shelmerdine almost making contact off the second corner. As a matter of fact, Shelmerdine eased off the accelerator, and he lost a lot of momentum. But meanwhile, here we see cars start. The 7 car gets hit behind by the 6. Oh, and he goes in and collects the 67 car. And Kevin Counselor comes in there hard and plows into...
That was the 7 car, Rich Woodland.
Yes.
That was spinning around. Counselor has impact from the 31 of Randall Ritter, rather. Different angle, this impact up in turn 4.
Himself and the leader, David Keith.
Now let's see what Steele can do as he looks at his windshield at the Midway Island Ford of Mark Thompson. By the way, Thompson's car number 21, that's a 1997 Ford Thunderbird. Not a Taurus, but a 97 T-Bird, but a darn good one. That's the car that set on the pole and won here. Like, whoa!
Oh, Ryan Newman looks like he loses the right front tire, and the car just slams in the wall.
Up across the racetrack.
And this is the 21 car, Mark Thompson going down and just touching the wall. Oh, man.
And so very quickly we lose 2 of the top 7 contenders in this final laps of competition. There's the Alltel Ford Taurus of Ryan Newman, and apparently the right front tire going down. He went up across the racetrack and just pancaked the right side of that car into the concrete in turn 3.
Just watch on the very right side of your screen. All of a sudden he's going along and the car just veers right. And how lucky was he that he was very high on the racetrack. He had no distance at all to get to the wall, and that really saved a lot of impact as far as his body was concerned. And I don't know if, wow, look at that car lift up in the back. I don't know if he backed off the accelerator and someone ran the back of him or what caused that spin.
See those roof flaps come up that brought that car back down to the ground very gently. But that will bring out the 8th caution flag of the day. Well, that's a real thick limb you're standing on there, Benny.
All three of those things look almost identical. David Keith, Tim Steele.
You know, Kurt Shelburne, don't count him out. He and Amy get hooked up back there in 4th and 5th. They're trying to reel these guys in. Strong run by David Keith. And here goes Hutter, trying to go around him on the outside. Keith will pull back up in position. Remember Robert Yates Power beneath the hood of that car number 95, owned by Earl and Czech Sadler. Jerry Coble, the crew chief for David Keith. The team is based in Nashville, Tennessee.
And Tim Steele has some type of problem, Jerry. He's just not able to hang on to those front two right now. Here comes the 57 car, Kurt Shelburne, about to catch a 16 and pass it for 3rd spot.
Yeah, still not nearly as steamy as he was early on, when he just ran people down. And there you see the vantage point from Kurt Shelburne's CLR Ford closing in on the 3rd place car of Tim Steele.
We saw 196 miles per hour as he ran up and got the draft off the Tim Steele car. How much that helped him? Well, maybe Steele, maybe he just, something happened and he had to get off the throttle and lost momentum, talking about the 16, because here he seems to come back.
Getting a bit of a shove now from behind. Steele looks to the inside of Hutter.
Wow. I think I called this one a little too soon as Steele now takes over that 2nd spot. He has help from Shelburne. Can't quite make that pass.
Wow, 7 cars are going to be right together here in these final 5 laps to determine who's going to win the Winn-Dixie 300. Arca Bondo Mar-Hyde action at its finest on the high banks at Talladega Superspeedway.
Shelburne is his former driver when he was a crew chief on the radio right now, telling him what to do in this situation, because he was a crew chief for Dale Earnhardt for many, many years, and Earnhardt seems to always know exactly what to do in this situation.
Bobby Gerhardt said he had a feeling he was going to have a good day, may get a win in that car number 5, pushing the competition, trying to get in the top 5. There they come. And 1 car in the wall, the 73. That's Ed Curtis out of Brook Park, Ohio, in the Jim Curtis Racing Chevrolet.
And the caution flag is out.
So the caution being shown with just a handful of laps or less than 5 laps to go.
Sure has the appearance of a right front tire going flat.
Boy, pretty hard impact. You see the right side of that car is caved in about 8 or 10 inches, where he has had some pretty significant impact with the concrete wall. Talking about the car number 73, Ed Curtis, that will bring out caution for the 9th time today.
And he was running in 12th spot on the lead lap, Ed Curtis was. You see the wrecker folks there immediately trying to get the car ready to be pulled back off the racetrack.
Now, we told you the previous caution came out on lap 83, and an incident, Mark Thompson's car spun. Let's show you what happened to the 21 car.
He goes up and almost makes contact with the 57 car of Kurt Shelburne, and I think when Mark saw how close he was, he tried to abruptly steer it away from him and spun himself out. And that was, as that was going on, at the same time, exactly the same time, the 27 car of Ryan Newman, the right front tire was going flat, and he was hitting the wall behind him.
What a shame for Mark Thompson, who, as you see, the red flag out, the pits are closed. Officials waving the red flag, and just 4 laps remaining here. And the Winn-Dixie 300, David Keith trying to hold off Tim Steele, Shelburne, Hutter, Gerhardt, and Sean Robinson, as well as others, here in these final 4 laps. We'll be back with the finish. And the white flag is waving by Hank Wetzel as the Pontiac safety car comes by. He's got to make it 1 more lap as they already begin celebrating down in the Earl and Czech Sadler pits for 26-year-old David Keith. Bible, Ford Taurus. Shoney's in, and Show Lodge sponsorship on that Ford. And there's the 73 car of Curtis that brought out the caution flag. Heavy impact on the right side of that beautiful race car. What was a gorgeous race car and a paint job coming into Talladega.
You see the 95 car on the apron of the racetrack. I would guess that he's concerned about getting on these 33-degree banks and all the fuel running over to the left side and running out of gasoline. That would just be my assumption. As he gets on the back stretch, he will go back in front. We can obviously hear the engine is still running.
David Keith began the year in Arca, winning the season opener at Daytona. He's got 2 poles this year, both with track records. At Pocono in Kentucky, he had a win last year at Michigan on ESPN. So he gets his 3rd career victory. All 3 of his wins coming on ESPN. We're talking about David Keith. And folks, when we go to Atlanta on November 18th, we will have at Atlanta Motor Speedway the championship decider, the Georgia Boot 400, Sunday, November 19th, 6 Eastern Time on ESPN2. The Arca Bondo Mar-Hyde Series curtain call for the year 2000, that Georgia Boot 400 from Atlanta Motor Speedway.
And David Keith still on the apron of the racetrack up in the corners. Yeah, don't go on pit road and be congratulated by your pit crew, because that would not work, David. Have to follow this pace car down the... Oh, he didn't make a pit stop.
Robert Yates horsepower, Doug Yates and the crew getting a strong motor under David Keith, and boy, he needed it today to hold off. Some great challenges by Kirk Shelmerdine, who also had a Yates engine. Ernie Elliott power there for Tim Steele. And here he comes down, waving now out that left side window. What a great crowd on hand today at Talladega under beautiful clear skies, and the checkered flag waves for the 2nd time this year and 3rd time in his career for 26-year-old David Keith, who wins the Winn-Dixie 300. Let's go down to Bill Weber.